It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. This is the Tennessee Bonus Hour. You can hear us on 760 AM WENO here in Nashville and 730 AM KQPN in Memphis. You can see us on YouTube. Just type in the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We're also posting the highlights of the show on Rumble. And you can reach me on X, formerly Twitter, Michael P. Leahy, or you can call in 615-649-8477. 615-649-8477. It is December 10th, Christmas 2 weeks and a day. That's great. We love Christmas. Donald Trump he's still doing kind of some business activities. I don't know exactly how. He's been selling what? He sold these sneakers, gold sneakers. Then he was selling watches. Now he has the Trump fragrance. He did some high-level trolling of Jill Biden, who was there. Picture of Jill looking at him like, oh, you're wonderful. And the fragrance that will even make your enemies like you. That's hilarious. Well, he's got a Christmas album coming out, asterisk. And we've got the first song. Yes, here we go. Donald Trump's Christmas album, the headline. His very first Christmas song. Here we go.
You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. 47's coming to town. I made a beautiful list and we're checking it twice. All the bad hombres will be deported by ICE. 47's coming to town. Tom Homan's gonna find you and make you go away. If you came here illegally, then you're not allowed to stay. So you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. 47's coming to town.
Okay. That, of course, was not President-elect Donald Trump. It was indeed our good friend Sean Farish. Sean, of course, is the great Trump impersonator. But I think it's kind of fun, isn't it? Yeah. Look, maybe his fragrances are selling well, his watches are selling well, his sneakers. Donald Trump singing Christmas carols would be good. We got to get the guy from YMCA, right? Write him a Christmas carol, a Trump Christmas carol. All right. So here we got another thing. This is actually the real Donald Trump, and this part I love about it. We didn't play it yesterday, but this was. He was talking with Christian Welker, who's the host of Meet the Press, who was doing the typical gotcha that he handled very well. And basically he said, you could do much better. You got to stop the bias. Here we go. I want to play this clip of Donald Trump, clip 17. Donald Trump basically telling Christian Welker at Meet the Press she could do much better.
Yeah.
All evidence.
Let me ask you this about
It's
January
amazing.
6th.
I wish you could be you have such potential. If you could be just non-biased, you hurt yourself so badly. I'm telling you, they deleted and destroyed all the evidence. Everyone knows it. And you slough it off like it doesn't mean anything.
No, I'm just saying they deny it. That's all I'm saying.
Kristen, if I did it, you would be standing up in that chair shouting at me. And you know what I'd do? I'd say, you got me. They have done something so illegal. They have a committee sworn to, and because it was so bad, the only reason they did it is because the testimony turned out to be in favor of me.
I love what he did there. You see that? Now, I do also want to say that I think there's a turning of the tide here. And the turning of the tide, it really happened on July 13th, 2024, when providentially Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt when at the last minute, seconds, he turned his head in a certain way so that a bullet, instead of penetrating his brain, hit the tip of his ear. And subsequent to that, he got the endorsement of Elon Musk, the endorsement of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He brought unity into the political environment of the United States. And the regime media has been, what's the right word? I guess it's that old children's story, The Emperor Has No Clothes. The regime media is the emperor without any clothes. And their constant haranguing, their constant trying to spin, their constant gotcha stuff, as opposed to, really paying attention to what really is important, is now, I think, increasingly obvious. And that was, of course, one of the reasons why I think Trump went on Meet the Press, knowing that he would have this kind of gotcha mentality from Christian Welker. And the way he responded was really quite superb. Now, to illustrate that point, and we've got a couple of breaking stories here that are relevant to it, and it has to do with our friend Kash Patel. Now, we have indeed interviewed Kash Patel on this program. We did not know at the time that Donald Trump would nominate him to be the head of the FBI, but clearly there's all sorts of evidence now that the Department of Justice was illegally tracking his conduct and is basically illegally trying to find out what he was up to. Kash Patel has a very interesting story to tell. Here's Kash Patel talking about what was really going on in Ukraine. Here we go. Let's play this clip 9.
I've asked this Congress to investigate where has this money gone. The American people are owed that answer because it's our money. It's our taxpayer dollars.
And there's a lot of really good reason to be concerned because, the Ukraine was known as a, place of corruption, a place for money laundering.
Yeah. It's not like we sent $1 billion, as if that was even a small number to begin with, right? We've sent 100 times that to one country. I don't know how this Congress is allowed to get away with it. And Zelensky is out there. He went on the world stage and said Russia fired a rocket into Poland, which would literally be an act of war. Well, it turned out that Russia fired no such rocket. It turned out that the rocket came from the Ukraine and was fired into Poland.
And it was a mistake, basically.
If Zelensky's going to go out there and beg the world for more money and come to the U.S. and sit in the well of our Congress and say, we want more money, and then call and demand the new Speaker of the House provide more and more money, and call Mitch McConnell and say, we need more and more machinery, he needs to be more prepared about global statements that bring us to the precipice of war than doing what he did last fall with this missile attack, or this missile launch, I should say. And we just can't have full faith and trust by giving a leader $100 billion and having him say, I'm not telling you where the money went.
Yeah, exactly. And look, Kash Patel has really received rave reviews from anybody who's ever worked with him. And there's something going on here, which is quite interesting. The grassroots support for all of the Trump nominees is really pushing and is being noticed at a great degree by the members of the Senate who will either confirm or deny. And their role is to actually advise and consent. And so, what's going on right now is there's huge pressure, as Corey Lewandowski says here well, we don't have time for this clip. We'll get back to this clip afterwards. But what I want to talk about in our next segment, that has to do with the growing consensus that since the withdrawal of the nomination for Matt Gaetz to be the Attorney General, it now looks like every single Trump cabinet nominee will be confirmed. But more when we get back, I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just one scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service, great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Our number, 615-649-8477, 615-649-8477. Well, we've got 40 days. 40 days and 40 nights until 47. Can you wait that long? I don't know. I mean, just put him in there right now. Put me in, coach. Let him begin running the show. Well, he's got a team that he's looking for in the cabinet. And it's very interesting to see what's happened on this. So he had a couple of nominations that people said, that's interesting. When Matt Gaetz, when he nominated Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, now Matt Gaetz is an attorney. Matt Gaetz he practiced law for about 8 years, but mostly he's been a political guy. And it was a surprise to think that Matt Gaetz would be the Attorney General. There are other candidates at that time. And okay, look, Donald Trump won a mandate election. The people said, we want Donald Trump. Okay, let him have his team. The Senate's role constitutionally is to advise and consent. Advise and consent. That means that they really have to advise, they have to listen and talk to all of the nominees. I'll get back to that in just a moment. So then he nominates Pete Hegseth. Now, again, talk about a curveball. Whoa. Which one surprised me more? I think the Matt Gaetz as Attorney General sort of surprised me more because he had that, ongoing ethics investigation in the House. But Pete Hegseth made some sense because what Trump is looking for in our military is the ability to command and build a fighting force that is effective, not some DEI, whatever, craziness. And look, Pete Hegseth, Princeton undergrad, Harvard's master's in public policy, served as in battle, commanded troops in battle, a major, won 2 Bronze Stars. That's a real deal. And you'll see the senior leadership in our Army is basically gone politically correct. They're more interested in being politically correct than they are in winning wars. Well, we got to win wars. If you want peace, prepare for war, which means you've got to have an effective military. So I saw Hegseth as a bit of a surprise, but you know what? He's probably the right guy for the job. Now, then there were other, somewhat controversial. Tulsi Gabbard was controversial only because, she's a former Democrat. She's, I think, very well qualified. She's a lieutenant colonel in the National Guard. She served in Iraq, I think it has. So she was another bit of surprise. And so what happened is, here's what happened. Gates was not as popular as any other nominees. Rubio, nominated for Secretary of State, that's a slam dunk, right? Because he's a popular senator. He'll probably get, in his confirmation hearing, I don't know, Rubio will get probably at least, 65 votes, I would guess. 53 Republicans, 47 Democrats, or those who caucus with Democrats. So I think Rubio's going to be fine. Scott Bessent at Treasury. I don't think Bessent will be a problem at all. He supports the tariff programs, but okay, that's fine. The president gets to pick the other, big nominees. Secretary of Interior, Doug Burgum. Doug Burgum is a great guy. He's a very successful business guy. Made about $1 billion building up Great Plains Software, sold it to Microsoft. Twice elected governor of North Dakota. Nothing controversial about that guy. He'll easily get in Secretary of Interior. I think Chris Wright? Yeah, Chris Wright will get in Secretary of Energy. Susan McMahon, Secretary of Education, no problem. Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, she'll get in. There's not going to be a problem. But I bring this up because there's something called blood in the water, right? And there's a playbook that the Democrats have, which is there's a nominee come out, they'll kind of go after him, they'll isolate him, go after him one at a time, and they'll isolate him, they'll freeze him. That's the old Saul Alinsky tactic, and they did that with Matt Gaetz. And he had this ethics committee report alleging various personal improprieties that was hanging out there. Ended up getting leaked by a Democrat who's no longer around. I guess that's illegal to do that, but okay. So, but he was not getting enough Republican support. And I think what happened there is Matt Gaetz got a call from President Trump and said, Matt, he's not going to make it. So he says he withdrew on his own. I think he was nudged. By the way, I don't know what his plan is, but he's very effective. He represented the 1st Congressional District of Florida. What is that? That's the Pensacola area, the so-called Redneck Riviera, where everybody in Nashville goes down for a vacation, right? And but what he did was, after he was nominated to be the AG, he withdrew. He resigned from Congress. He's not a member of Congress anymore. There's going to be a special election there. Now, a Republican will win it. That was surprising to me. But when he resigned, what that meant was that the ethics committee report was not going to be officially released. And apparently there was something in there that was, not great for him. But okay, fine. But what happened is, and now Matt's going to be a primetime host on One American News. Now, we know people at One American News. It's a good operation. But what they're betting on is that, but they've struggled. Let's be honest. They've struggled. They've lost some cable carriage. Good family. The Harrington family out of San Diego runs them. But I think what they're betting on with Donald Trump back in and Matt Gaetz as their lead anchor, they'll be back in the media sway. And perhaps that'll be the way it plays out. We'll see. But having said that, the Democrats then started to really get focused on taking down Pete Hegseth. And they tried to Kavanaugh him with a bunch of smears. Now, Pete has a colorful personal life. He's 44 years old. He's on his third wife. Okay? So, and, he had a certain reputation of certain personal behaviors that would not be, well, as Megyn Kelly put it, if you're a conservative woman, you would support him for Secretary of Defense, but you wouldn't want to marry him, right? Let's just leave it at that. Then the other smears that came out, there was a smear of the sexual attack, but that was investigated by police and not confirmed whatsoever. And then they started spreading this thing that he's a drinker. Well, he's been on Fox and Friends for like 10 years. Nobody ever said he drinks. So it's a smear. Now, that is a playbook that would have worked. But here's what happened. And have you noticed this on Pete Hegseth? Pete has now got I would call it more of a steely resolve. Because what happened with Pete is he dug in, and the president's totally behind him. There's no phone call that's gone to Pete Hegseth saying, please withdraw. No. And he's actually handled himself quite well. So we have some breaking news here on this. There were two Republicans who were not really behind him. One was Lindsey Graham, the other was Joni Ernst from Iowa. And what happened on this, well, let's see if we got Corey Lewandowski. That clip 8, Corey Lewandowski. Corey Lewandowski and the MAGA grassroots sent a message to some of these senators that weren't sure about Pete Hegseth. Here we go, clip 8.
What would be your messages for those rhino Republicans who are in the Senate right now trying to say, no, we're not going to vote for him just because of these anonymous allegations?
Yeah, let me be very clear. Let me remind the U.S. senators in office of names like Bernie Moreno and David McCormick, the people that Donald Trump got elected this cycle so that they can be in the Republican majority. Because if it wasn't for Donald Trump, they'd still be in the minority. And so our ultimate recourse is at the ballot box. And when Donald Trump engages against a Republican in a primary, he almost always wins. So that's our ultimate recourse. And so Donald Trump has the prerogative to pick his people, to surround him, to change the way Washington, D.C. works. In full disclosure, Pete and Jen are personal friends of mine. I know them. I know their family. He's a phenomenal guy. He's a warrior's warrior. What he is not is a bureaucrat, a general who has made his way up through working at Raytheon and then coming back and forth through the revolving door. Pete is a hero, someone who went to Harvard, someone who went to Princeton. This guy is a warrior who has 2 Bronze Stars. And this is a guy who's been on the battlefield. And so the reason they hate Pete Hegseth is because he's going to change the way the Pentagon works. And so if you are a United States Senator, a Republican United States Senator, whether you're in the state of Maine or Alaska or in Iowa, be on notice that if you vote against Pete Hegseth, we will come for you. We will primary you, and we will beat you at the ballot box because every resource that the Trump MAGA movement has is behind Pete Hegseth, and I'm one.
Okay, so what's happened? Joni Ernst, who was not going to support him, went through multiple meetings with him. She's announced, she's from Iowa. She's announced she's supporting him. How about that? Lindsey Graham from South Carolina, who's saying, I might not support him, just came out right now. He's endorsed Pete Hegseth. What is my point here? I think Tom Cotton is right. Every single Trump nominee now is going to get confirmed. Pam Bondi at AG, Pete Hegseth at Defense, Kash Patel at the FBI, Rubio at State. It's going to be a team that's going to be ready to rock and roll, and they're going to win. Well, when we get back, I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. say a few words about our friends at the Nashville Pizza Company, 2176 Hillsborough Road. The Nashville Pizza Company in Franklin reminds us that the current economic times have been tough on many families in our area, and many are finding it hard to make ends meet. Your donations of clothing or canned goods can make a difference for a family in need. During this holiday season, give from the heart so others can have a new start. That's courtesy of our friends at Nashville Pizza Company, 2176 Hillsborough Road in Franklin. They are always working to keep our community moving in a positive direction.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it. Believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed.
This summer, never leave pets in vehicles while running errands. Even with windows cracked, 80 degrees can shoot up to 120 degrees, causing heat stroke, dehydration, and even death. So keep pets hydrated, shaded in cool areas, or just leave them at home. That's from Kathy, Candy, and the staff at Mutts Cuts Grooming, the people with warm hearts for those with cold noses. For your pet's grooming needs, call 931-645-9220. That's 931-645-9220 for Mutts Cuts Grooming in Clarksville, Tennessee at 1479 Tiny Town Road.
Hey there, this is Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store. As a proud sponsor of this show, you may have heard Michael Patrick Leahy mention us a few times over the past 4 years. But today, it's me on the radio telling you how pleased we are to be associated with Michael Patrick Leahy and his dedication to the highest levels of professional journalism. Michael Patrick Leahy has been threatened with jail time in bringing the true facts about that Nashville Covenant shooting to his listening audience. Michael Patrick Leahy, you keep doing what you're doing, and we here at the Glock Store will keep sponsoring your show for the good of Nashville and the entire country. And I'm personally inviting all of your listeners to come visit and shoot at the Glock Store. It's where Michael Patrick Leahy learned to shoot a gun for the first time and where he bought his own personal Glock 19. I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store here in Nashville, just minutes from the airports, worth the drive from anywhere, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy and the Tennessee Star Report.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
So the big news yesterday morning out of New York City was that a jury acquitted 24-year-old former Marine Daniel Penny of charges of criminally negligent homicide. It was a little weird because the district attorney there, Alvin Bragg, brought two charges against him. One was for manslaughter, which had a 10-year possible prison term, and the lesser charge was criminally negligent homicide, which had a possible 4-year prison term on it. And clearly what they were trying to do, they were trying to basically give the jury the option of charging him for the lower crime. But what happened here on all this was quite interesting. So they couldn't agree at all on the first charge of manslaughter, which was a heavier charge. They came back, said they did not have a unanimous verdict. What was interesting about all this is that the very interesting thing about all this was that the judge then, at the suggestion of the prosecutor, dismissed that charge. In his original charge, he said, you got to decide the criminally negligent, you got to decide on the manslaughter before you get to criminally negligent homicide. They couldn't do it. He said, well, okay, we'll just go skip it. The prosecution said, dismiss that higher level charge and go right to the other charge. That happened on Friday afternoon. Now remember, at least one person in the jury wanted to convict him. of the more serious charge. They get back on Monday morning, and it takes them an hour to say unanimous verdict against the lower charge. What was going on? Basically, the jury was telling the judge and the prosecution, we're sick of all this. And that's what happened. Now, the reaction of BLM, we've got that here on clip 15. Let's hear it.
Because to be real, they didn't even try. Once the lesser charge was removed, they came back an hour later and said it was deadlocked. Less than an hour and 20 minutes later, they said not guilty. These wonderful white people, I hope they celebrate their Christmas while the Neely family is praying and asking God for comfort. God damn them and goddamn America.
Ooh. We have to play all those clips. Now, the interesting thing about this is there's a false statement there. What is the false statement? Well, the false statement is that the jury was all white. It wasn't. I think there were like 7 white people, 2 black people, a Filipino, Hispanics, etc. But then another incendiary attack was made against the jury decision here in clip 21 from another Black Lives Matter leader.
We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us? Right.
Okay, so that looks like a call to violence, doesn't it? Well, guess what? There were, right afterwards, there were, I don't know how many, several dozen protesters running around causing trouble there, and they actually kind of all got rounded up. Leo Terrell is a black conservative who's sick of it all. Here was his clip, his response, clip 16.
Hi, Leo 2.0 here, big-time Trump supporter. December 9th, 2024. President Trump is going to be our next president, and I'm very, very happy about it. But I'm also happy for Marine veteran Daniel Penny. He was just found not guilty of negligent homicide. Daniel Penny is the man who showed courage and protected those passengers on the subway from a lunatic, from a person who was violent. Alvin Bragg lost today. Alvin Bragg is a failure as a DA. You see, he goes after people for political reasons. He went after Daniel Penny because the victim was black. He went after President Trump. But a jury of his peers found him not guilty of negligent homicide. Even though there were racial agitators outside trying to pressure this jury into a conviction. It's a great day for America because justice prevailed. There was no reason for Daniel Penny to be charged in the first place. He's a hero. But Alvin Bragg plays the race card. Alvin Bragg plays politics with the law. He went after President Trump. He went after Daniel Penny, and the jury gave Alvin Bragg the middle finger. He should step down. He's incompetent. I got news for you, Alvin Bragg. You're going to face justice January 2025. You have to answer a lot of questions because you played politics with the law. And the American people spoke on November 5th. There's a change in the air. It's going to happen. And you're going to have to pay and respond to your misconduct.
Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. What he's talking about is the new Attorney General. He's going to look at the conduct of Alvin Bragg. And clearly, all of the Trump litigation, the Trump charges, the felony, they were all political. There's no question about that. Did he misuse his office? Did he abuse, was that obstruction of justice? I think probably. And, he may face charges at the federal level from the Department of Justice. Also, he's up for re-election in November 26. Who wants Alvin Bragg to be? Who in New York City looks around and says, this guy's doing a good job keeping us safe? And they're not safe there at all. He spends all his time going after political enemies. So that you got that going on. I also want to add a couple things about this. So Daniel Penny, 24 years old now. He apparently joined the Marines at 18, served for 4 years, and left when he was 22. He's a student of architecture at the New York School of Technology, I guess is what it was, and also he makes money as a waiter. That's what he did. Now, interestingly enough, I think I saw one of the earlier interviews before he had an attorney, that he's kind of a interesting looking fellow. He's about 6'2", kind of tall, skinny, ramrod straight, got that funny curly hair. But then I think I saw an interview, I think he had like a nose ring and a mustache. That was before his attorneys got him. Now, his attorney said, "We love you, Daniel. Lose the nose ring, lose the mustache. It's an improvement." And so that was basically so that if he was charged, which he ended up being charged, he shouldn't have been charged, the jury would look at him in a positive way. Right? Now, interestingly enough, they never put him on the stand, which I don't think they should have. That was the right thing to do in this particular instance. But Daniel Penny has an interesting situation because, again, it's a tragic situation. So the Jordan Neely, the 30-year-old black man who apparently was homeless, who had all sorts of psychiatric difficulties and had a huge, 30 or 40 criminal charges before this, and was threatening the people on that subway, and he put them on a chokehold, and subsequently apparently was still alive when the police got there, but then something went wrong, and anyways, he died in a tragic situation. But what's interesting about this now, you see this, the family of Jordan Neely has said they're going to bring a civil lawsuit against Daniel Penny for depriving him of life. Father, and now what's interesting, the father apparently has had nothing to do with the late Jordan Neely for like 12 years. So what are they doing? They're looking at money. A civil lawsuit for financial return for, wrongful death. Usually a civil lawsuit will follow a criminal conviction. They did not get a criminal conviction here at all. But, they can file a civil lawsuit. I don't think that it's going to go anywhere whatsoever. It depends upon the jury and the venue, all right? But this guy, now, if you're Daniel Penny, it's a happy day. It's a happy day because he's a free man and he will not go to prison over these charges, which should never have been brought. I will tell you this. He was fortunate to get a couple of really, really good attorneys. And I think they were able to raise, I saw this report, they raised online about $3 million for his defense. Frankly, I think that's probably about what it's going to cost to have two high-quality attorneys represent you if you're charged with murder in New York City. I mean, I know it's crazy, but then the next step is going to be what's going to happen with the guy, what's going to happen in the civil trial, and what kind of future does the guy have? Typically something like this, what the person who's at the center of this wants is obscurity. They don't want anybody to know about them, about their life and where they're headed. And look, I hope Daniel has a very, very happy and successful life away from the headlines, away from all this. Look, the problem is you still have this, what can I say, subset of people in New York, the Black Lives Matter crowd, that are seeking revenge against Daniel Penny. So I think there's got to be some concern about his personal safety. But on balance, I would say this verdict yesterday, after an hour of deliberation, sends a clear message that the tide is turning away from insanity and turning back towards common sense, turning back towards the traditional rule of law. And frankly, why is all this happening? Well, I think it's quite clear, because Donald Trump won the election. And why did Donald Trump win the election? Because after the failed assassination attempt, which was, I think, providential, he built around him a consensus and a unifying factors with the endorsement of Elon Musk, with the endorsement of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the endorsement of Tulsi Gabbard. This all sent a message. And the message is, we are sick and tired of left-wing divisive propaganda in the United States of America. And what we want to do now is exactly what Donald Trump said he did in that interview on Meet the Press with Kirsten Welker. We want to focus on going forward in the future. We want to build a country, again, that is great. And we want to build a rule of law where everyone is treated fairly. And on that note, we'll take a break. Hey, when we come back, yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of day. It'll be time for News Potpourri. I have a plethora of stories for you. Back after this.
Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, folks, it's that time of day again. It's time for News Potpourri. Love that schmaltzy music. Yes, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program where we talk about those stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and have a touch of irony. Well, here is a story. It broke last night at Semaphore. I'm not sure exact. That's a new kind of online, group of, center left, I guess you would call them. It's an interesting report. I don't know if it's been verified to any degree, but I'll just share it with you. Our friend Kari Lake, who barely lost her race for governor of Arizona in 2022 and lost her race for the United States Senate in Arizona by 2% in 2024, being rumored as a candidate. She's very much a hardliner on the border, rumored as a possible nominee to be ambassador to Mexico. I'm trying to verify that. I haven't verified it with anybody, but I will tell you, I think that's a win for both President Trump and for Kari Lake. And I think it'd be a great thing if that happens. So we'll keep you posted on it. Sometimes these rumors come out and sometimes, they make sense. Sometimes they don't. Okay, you want to hear something funny? This is our lead story at the Tennessee Star. A Cheatham Middle School here in Ashland City, Tennessee, just north here of Nashville. They used to be called the Bearcats. Well, the University of Cincinnati goes by the Bearcats, and they sent them a notice that they were going to sue them for stealing their mascot. I don't know how you do that, but okay. So what happened? They decided, we'll go for something else. Instead of that, they used to be the Bearcats, and the University of Cincinnati said it was too close to their Bearcats, so you got to get rid of them. So they said, okay, we'll get rid of it. In Cincinnati, the big rival to the University of Cincinnati is Xavier University. It's right there in Cincinnati. They're called the Musketeers. Well, guess what? Cheatham Middle School now. Apparently, they got the okay from Xavier. They're the Cheatham Middle School Musketeers now. What a great story. And congratulations for the cleverness in that from the Cheatham County Middle School folks. Okay, here's another story in Tennessee. It's not a good story. It comes from the College Fix. You can see it at Tennessee Star, TennesseeStar.com. Vanderbilt University to end inherently exclusionary honors program. Vanderbilt University recently announced plans to phase out its College Scholars Honors Program, replacing it with a new one that is more inclusive and accessible to all students. The honors program will close at the end of the academic year, but current students will be able to remain in it until they graduate. In place of this honors program, they plan to introduce a new curriculum that will provide a broad, deep, and integrated educational experience. This is ridiculous. Look, honors programs are designed for people who want to be, academic, wonky, focused on excellence, and there's no reason at all that they should end it except for it's exclusionary. That's just crazy. Okay, here is a big story from our friends at Just the News. John Solomon. This is important. Headline: Bombshell memo from 2021 warned the unprepared Department of Homeland Security about the surge of unaccompanied migrant children. Tom Homan, the new border czar, said it's like 300,000 or so unaccompanied children. What happened to them after they crossed the border? Are they in child sex slavery? What's going on with them? Where are they? Here's the story from John Solomon and Stephen Richards. Long before Congress became alarmed, over as many as 320,000 unaccompanied minor children from the border crisis. The Department of Homeland Security prepared a briefing memo in summer of 2021, starkly warning Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas that federal authorities were ill-equipped to deal with the surge of young immigrants or reunite them with their parents. This, according to a copy of a memo reviewed by Just the News. The memo came from the nonpartisan watchdog group Protect the Public Trusts under the Freedom of Information Act. It took them a long time to get it. So what does this mean? Well, this is very, very troubling. Michael Chamberlain, who's our friend from the Protect the Public Trust, says, it appears as though they, the Department of Homeland Security, let the crisis take its course. It's hard to imagine they really responded well, even at the time they in the memo that we have here, says the task force, even when they have reunified children with their parents and their families, they were at great risk of homelessness or had already become homeless. So just trouble all around. This is one of the reasons, it seems to me, why there are rumors out there that in the preemptive pardons that apparently are being considered by Joe Biden, the name Alejandro Mayorkas is at the very top of the list. In fact, I mean, we could see dozens and dozens of such preemptive pardons, the kind of thing that he did with Hunter Biden. You know, he said, any crime that you committed from January 2014 until December of 2024, you're pardoned if it's a federal crime. Well, Alejandro Mayorkas was made aware of these problems of over 300,000 unaccompanied minors, and they're probably in very difficult circumstances today. There you go. That's our program for today. That's our news potpourri. We'll be back tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Up next, Rob Carson. I hope you have a great day. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Thanks for joining us today. This is Michael Patrick Leahy. I want to say a word about my good friend Dustin Damon. Dustin is the best handyman in Middle Tennessee. Call Dustin today at 724-683-4400. That's 724-683-4400 if you have a job around the house that you just haven't gotten around to. If you're busy like me, you just may not have the time to fix that broken mailbox, repair the back porch, or get that old light fixture back to working properly. Do what I did. Call Dustin Damon today at 724-683-4400, and he will bring his truck and tools to your house and get that job done lickety-split. Dustin's main service area is Williamson County and the southern part of Davidson County. So call Dustin Damon, the best handyman in Middle Tennessee today, at 724-683-4400. Tell him you heard about him on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. The Chief Team reminds listeners here that more and more veterans will be returning home over the next few years, and many are local. These heroes have elite military training and valuable professional skills, but they also need jobs too. That's why the Chief Team is encouraging all local businesses. Let's make it the year we hire smart and hire veterans. That's from the Chief Team, where they say service isn't just a courtesy, it's a commitment. For more information, call 931-444-3572. That's 931-444-3572 for the Chief Team in Clarksville.
The Black preaching tradition is deeply connected to gospel music. PBS presents a new series hosted by Henry Louis Gates Jr., Gospel. Our singers preach and our preachers sing.
Gospel is a prayer. It is our heart's cry to God in lyrics and song.
You feel it deep down in your soul.
Streaming now on the PBS app.